And hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. It's that little dollar sign below. And welcome to the weekly chat. We do it every Monday, 8 to 9 Eastern. You ask whatever you want, and I'll try and come up with an answer to it. Got some new stuff on the RFK Stadium demolition to discuss, and, of course, the trades and everything else, and the win for once, and all that other stuff. So, as soon as everybody's ready, Steve, you're up. Thanks for coming. We have a lot to talk about today. Try and see if I can line up better. Um, Steve, you must be happy. Team won a game. Let everybody start filtering in the room, then we'll start. And if you're watching this on replay, because more people watch on replay and watch live, because people come from everywhere, including Europe, to watch the show. It's all replayed after I'm done in perpetuity. So whatever. Seasons of Discontent podcast to be up tomorrow night. That's 15 minutes. We talk twice a week on that. Of course, videos are up. I just put up a video about RFK Stadium and demolition. I'm going to give a few minutes. I'll start talking about that. They finally put up a report exactly what's going on. The teaser is we don't know. There's no date, but everything else I know what's going on about. Oh, a long day since yesterday. So I've learned traffic is back. I had to cross DC this morning. I live southeast of DC. I had to go to northwest part. I had to go past Redskin Park and everything for a ways for a medical appointment. And man, traffic's bad again. 6:30, 7 in the morning. All right, Steve. And that looked really good. If only Brown would have caught the ball before the interception. Well, yeah, but that was a bad interception. We're not going to blame anybody but Sam. Sam got greedy, tried to thread the needle too much there. Should have thrown the ball away. Well, other than that, can't really complain about the day. Love the offensive line. Really did some good things. David, did Forbes talk with D Green? Not to my knowledge. I mean, D Green's reached out, but I don't know that Forbes even knew it. I mean, D Green was talking to me and some other reporters when he said that. So I don't know. I haven't heard about it if he did. Yeah. So it's it's a little bit happier land. I mean, I just saw the Chase Young's video press conference from San Francisco where he says, this is what winners feel like. Yeah, okay, dude, thanks. I love when players leave and they want to talk stuff. Considering he underperformed in DC, some of it his fault, some of it not. But you go be you, Chase. Hi, Mr. Tiamaro is back. Good, glad to see it. Just letting the room fill up a little bit as best it can. It's weird. After wins, we don't get as many people sometimes. I don't know. You guys got something else to do for once, I guess, or maybe you're on the old time and just show up later. But overall, it was a decent effort by them against, yes, there are bad teams, but there are no bad wins in the NFL. So people say, oh, you gave them too hard at grades. I grade positions after games. Next week, I'm too tough. This week, I was too nice. Whatever. Go do your own. Fastest player on the team, Diami Brown, James. Doesn't mean he catches the ball as much, but he's considered the fastest guy on there. Let's see. Oh, okay. Justin says Sam, top 2 in NFL passing yards. I hadn't looked at it lately. Okay. And you got to see Belichick lose. Steve's kind of happy about that. So, yeah. I mean, listen, everybody loved Belichick. He's one of the greats of the game. Now he's going through a down period, and everybody wants to, hit on him, whatever. Belichick's had a great career. He ain't worrying about any of y'all. Tyreek, I don't know about that. Okay. All right. Let me go into the RFK stuff I got. I just posted a video about RFK on DC Events, which is the government body that oversees RFK for the DC government. Posted on their website. Finally, the last report was in February. They put one up that said October, though I don't know what day in October they put it up. But anyway, included in it is the report. Full report's like 25 pages of what's going on at RFK. All right, so let me go to bottom line. Number one, no date in there, but they have the report shows that they pretty much comply with all the uh, environmental regulations that needed to go on. They need the National Environmental Policy Act. They have to get a compliance agreement with them, and also a National Historic Preservation Act, whatever they're preserving there. Um, and those two are like the last two things they need before they start. But they have, it's called the Smoot Construction Company, has completed the asbestos removal and the non structural demolition work. They did a lot of, they basically tore everything out of the stadium. So now, how do they get the stadium? When they get a, and they've gotten the raise permit already, it's been issued by DC. So just waiting on a couple government agencies, but I have no idea when that will come out. Um, and neither do they. But they're going to raise the stadium to 3 feet below ground level, street level, and take it down all the way. Now, they will not blow it up. I know you think that'd be easier, but the biggest thing in all of the stuff that they've done is the air quality they're worried about. Now, they don't want to put all this stuff in the air, the nation's capital, all that. So that's why they're not going to blow it up. They're going to do it what they call mechanical means. So basically, they're going to take the overhead deck, lower it down, cut it up, take it away. Then they're going to grind up a lot of the big concrete and the big pieces, lower them down to the street, haul them off on there. That's the biggest thing. So it'll take a while, but it'll go quicker than you think on that. And the interesting thing I saw too in there was RFK is the footprint of the stadium is 11.6 acres. That's 190 acres of a whole reservation, they call it. But so the stadium's a little smaller than some other stadiums, the actual footprint. I guess I'm not surprised by that. And then they also have some stuff about Langston Golf Course. If any of you are locals, they're going to basically renovate Langston's golf course, put some money into it, which they need to. That was built by FDR and the Civilian Conservation Corps, 1939. So that's a historic place right next to RFK. So to summarize it, they're near starting to do serious stuff to RFK. They've spent about the past year getting rid of the asbestos and all that kind of stuff because that's the cancer causing agents, and they can't have that in the air because all these workers will. So like 9/11, that when those buildings went down, all that stuff in the air killed thousands of people later on. So that's what with the RFK. So at least we know it's sooner than later. What do you say? Okay, Brent, with the new owner now, does he bring in his own college scouting? That's a really good question because the answer right now is no. You're keeping the front office, the scouts, and all those guys there. So let's say come January, you're not firing all them because you've spent 3 months, but you can't get your staff together. Scouts and all them are all tied up mostly. So you can't really do it now. You have to rely on those guys. And then your new, if we just say there's a new coaching staff and all that, and GM, then they'll parcel through it and make their own decisions. That's why they have the combine. I mean, the scouts do a framework, and then they come through in the spring and do their own second opinions. So that's what they're going to do. Antoinette, do I see Payne or Allen gone at the end? Nope, nope, not at all. Happy Victory Monday to Todd Labor. There you go. Let's see, Steve, do you think they'll promote EB to head coach next year? Okay, here's the one thing. I don't see him letting Ron go during the season. And EB's, got a lot on his plate right now, and he doesn't, to be head coach, would he take it? Probably, but you don't want to do that. You want to let your next GM come in, analyze how EB's done among other things, and say, it's worth promoting him or not. But if you make him an interim coach, then you kind of force yourself to do that, and you want to leave your options open. Could he be the next head coach? Yeah. I mean, I like EB. If I was a football player, I could play for EB. I like his style. I like a lot of what he does. Had a good game plan yesterday against New England. He got the running game back into the game plan. EB's not been perfect. He's got things he has to improve on, but I think he's been a positive overall for this team. And if he really meshes well with Sam Howell, then maybe you keep him there. But maybe he gets an offer to be a head coach elsewhere. So we'll just see. That's one of the things you just got to wait and see. Okay, Joel. NBC reports the New England Patriots trading Belichick to Washington. Well, I mean, when Marty's rights were traded in 2001 to Washington, they gave up 2/3 for him. Marty didn't have any rings. Belichick did. I don't know. I ran a poll earlier about would you want Belichick, and about 80% of people said no. It was a good number of people too. It wasn't like 8 people out of 10. So I just don't think they're going to do it. I think they'll go with the younger blood. God, as a reporter, I don't know if I want that or not. Belichick, he doesn't answer anything. Kevin, I think Rivera should have been gone after the Bears game. Well, but he wasn't. So, the interesting part about Ron Rivera now in Washington, he is 9-1. I always said if the Super Bowl was on Thanksgiving, Ron would be Super Bowl champ every year. November is his month. Now they got to go to Seattle this week. Can they win that game? Yeah, they could win that game. I mean, honestly, look what Baltimore just did to them. Not that Washington's as good as Baltimore, but you know, um, it just shows that Seattle is vulnerable to lose. Richie, who's the next head coach in 24? Oh, man, what's Magic 8 Ball says? Ask me later. That's just pure spitting in the wind, man. I don't know. What's my thought on KJ Henry's roughing call? Asked Big Joe. I thought it was a stupid call. I mean, they act like you can freeze motion like the Matrix and stop and move your body differently, and then you avoid it. You can't do that. I mean, this is a bang bang thing, and yeah, you're not allowed to belly flop on a guy and break his ribs, but I didn't see any of that. I thought it was a bad call, and I think they're lucky that it didn't cost them the game. And the NFL, I think, will probably send out an opinion later that says, yeah, yeah. Um, was Norv Turner 12-4 in November, Joel? I don't remember that, and I don't think that's right. Oh, let's see. He was coach from '93 to 2000, so that's 8 years, 4 games. That's 32 games. Uh, let's see. Yeah, 32 games in November. So no, they can't be 12-4. I have to go up and look at it. I don't know it off the top of my head. That kind of stuff I don't pay attention to. All right. Did I see Atlanta start Taylor? Says Daniel. Yeah, I didn't see much of it, but I saw a little bit, and he's going to start again this week. So good for Taylor, man. Taylor's a survivor. I like Taylor. He's a baller. He's a survivor. I like Gus Farrat. Gus was the last man of the of his draft class of all the draft class. He was the last guy in the league. What's that tell you? He was a seventh round pick and outlasted them all. So some guys can do that, and Taylor might be one of them. Good for him. Hope he makes $1 billion. What many penalties in the game to that point? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, it went along pretty quickly. At one point, you never say this. There's a tradition in press boxes and all. Never say, "Wow, this game's going quick," because sure as all, something will then happen. The last time somebody, I'm not going to name them from the Post. This is many years ago. Says this out loud. Everybody groans. I swear this is true. One play later, there's a player hurt, and we stop play for 20 minutes. So you're like banished from press box if you don't even try and think it. It's like no hitters. You just don't talk about it. And I think yesterday I thought, wow, this game's going to be over like 4:15, but I'm in my home so I can do it. And no, it still is 4 o'clock. It just games have a way of doing that. Enjoy the back and forth chess match between EB and Belichick yesterday. It was interesting. Washington managed to pull it off. What's my call on the Cowboys game? Do you think it was the referees? Oh, I didn't really see that, Daniel. I didn't watch the game. I got other things to do. I got to work with this game. You guys get to go. Oh, that was cool. Okay, let's see what else is on. I don't have that luxury. I sometimes, if I have any brain cells left, will watch a little bit of the Sunday night game. And the Monday night, I barely ever see. Just I'm concentrating on the Commanders. Okay, that's what I do best, and the rest of it I fit in as I can. But I just kind of worry about this team. One other thing, it's going to kind of play into what I just talked about with RFK. The owner of the Caps and Wizards and Mystics and whatever else he owns, Ted Leonsis, he told the city he wants $600 million to renovate Capital One Arena here in Washington. What? I mean, that's an existing building. They're gonna put a new glass facade on the outside. They're gonna have a new food court. $600 million once from taxpayers, plus they'll put in $200 million. That's nuts. But that's money that'll compete against the Commanders at RFK. Which one do they want to do? How they want to spend the money? That's going to be interesting. Ron also today didn't really say much. Doesn't a lot of times. The one thing I love that he talks about, he goes, "Well, Sam Howell, you know, We almost pulled him from a couple games. He said that today. But I figured a young player has to learn through adversity. And yet, Emmanuel Forbes in the next breath, well, yeah, we need to take him out and retrain and do this and that. Oh, wait a minute, you just said young players need to fight their way through these tough times, and you did it for Sam, but you didn't do it for Emmanuel Forbes. It's talking out of both sides of your mouth. Let's see. Refs are too inconsistent this year, Kevin says. Here's the problem: the players are getting bigger, quicker, faster, and the refs aren't, and it's just becoming too much in a way for refs. And sometimes they make mistakes because they're just not in the right position or things just went bang bang. Trust me, if you're on a field area, and I have been in many times on games, it's different than watching on TV and even in the stands. You see how much faster and quicker. It's like a different game you're looking at when you're down on it, and that's what the refs have to put up with. And they make mistakes, and that's why replay is here and it catches some of them. But the refs are doing the best they can. I don't think making them full time or any stuff would make any difference. Um, I think coaches will ever be able to challenge bad calls from refs. Well, yeah, I mean, Ron got one yesterday. Um, he still has a under 500 record on challenging calls. He's about 500, but yeah, let's see. You guys get to watch him on replay. That's a whole lot different than standing there on the sideline. Okay, yeah. Mike talks about the NFL fines players when they get on plays that don't have a foul called, and a lot of times for excessive hitting somebody. That's under review. There's people looking at everything. If you're wearing the wrong socks, there's a guy in the spotter, they call him in the stadium, who's looking at everybody's uniforms and nicks them for like $5,000 for having the wrong socks or something. The NFL is very protective of certain things, but there's a lot of nickel and diamond players on things. Ross, looking at the overall D line for past years, we make the right decisions keeping Payne and Allen, or should they pay the DN? DE? I think they paid Allen and Payne a lot of money. Good players. I guess you have to put your money somewhere. So it might have been a little bit too much. But they got to get a DE. Maybe they'll draft one in the first round. But you guys will go insane. If they use their first round pick on a defensive end, you guys are going to just come through the screen at me on that. It's got to be an offensive tackle next year or quarterback if that's how they go. But I think Two Hill's okay, and I think James Smith Williams is okay. Smith Williams might be the better of the two in the end. And after that, the depth's pretty thin. So they'll have to do some things there. We'll see how those two guys do the rest of the season. If they do okay, they keep a job. If not, somebody else will be here. That's true of everybody, including me. You don't like my show next year, somebody else will be here for 2 minutes. Keith, if Ron hit on the quarterback, he believes he'll keep his job. Corner, not so much. Well, okay. Yes, you make a good point about Keith. On quarterbacks get exemptions that other players don't. That's very true. And Ron is banging the drum on quarterbacks. I mean, there was a press conference last week where somebody says about your 4 defensive linemen, and Ron goes, "Well, listen, we got a really good young quarterback." Wait a minute, what kind of smoke and mirrors answer was that? That's a classic Washington book the other way kind of answer. That was just I thought it shows desperation in my opinion. Well, everybody, the pressure's off a little bit because they lost this week, but gotta go to Seattle, then you play the Giants, then you play Dallas on Thanksgiving. Yeah, let's see what happens in 3 weeks on that. I don't know. Ron's like a lot of coaches. They do a lot of song and dancing near the end. They all do. So, well, we got a few people here today. It always amazes me how many more people come in later. All right, so 20 minutes into the show, so I get to do my horror act where I say, please hit the thanks button. Please give me money so that I may live in luxury, or at least with food. So, listen, anybody else talking about RFK's demolition statements and stuff? This is where you help pay somebody who goes into the stuff you don't read elsewhere or hear elsewhere. So I do appreciate it when everybody chips in a few bucks instead of just watching the show for free. And if you're too big a tightwad, at least hit that thumbs up button, okay? Because the algorithm likes that, and the algorithm sends me more people. So if you can't do it, reach in your pocket, at least hit the thumbs up button. If you can't do that, go watch something else. How about that? All right. Joel, this talk of Belichick come here won't go away. It's just nonsense. I don't see it. Don't see it. And they can't talk to him, of course. That's tampering illegal. Not like that. I don't think Kraft would allow it to happen. Imagine he lets him go somewhere else and they win again. Kraft won't like that. Can Hal really sustain throwing 45 times a game, Patrick asked. Yeah, he's young. He's got an arm. He's fine. You think Commanders have a chance to beat Seattle, Todd? Yeah, well, you always have a chance. And anytime you can score like they do, you definitely have a chance at times. Going to be a tough fight. Seattle's a tough home field advantage, too. The Seattle just flew home last night, so they just come off a cross country trip, so that helps a little, not much, but Washington's got to go out later. I think they're going Saturday. If I look at the schedule, um, hopefully it won't rain. I've been to Seattle a few times. Nice place, great fans. A little thin-skinned sometimes, but that's another story. Sometimes Hal does what he wants. Well, that's every quarterback, Ricky. You got to be able to adjust to things too. Kevin Belichick on a quarterback and the coach's team 25 years. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think the current quarterback they have is that bad. I've seen worse. Ross, thank you so much for chipping in. I do appreciate it. And Mike H also, see, it's just a few bucks, but I do appreciate it. Mike asked, I've watched 42 plays of Tuhill. You watched it all? He never gave up. I mean, the guy's Tuhill's could be a decent player. Okay, he won't be a great player, but then again, Sweat and Chase, their greatness never was achieved either. I saw Sweat sign a big extension with Chicago. Good for him. I don't know what Chicago's doing. Chicago spent a lot of money on a guy that's not taking them to the top, and they got too many needs. I don't know. I just didn't see it. And as a matter of fact, that Washington was going to trade Sweat to Atlanta. That's where he wanted to go at first. But Chicago came along at the end and gave him a better deal. And Sweat, for all the talk of he wants to go home to Atlanta, he signs for money. So here's two truths to NFL. Okay, two things you can go to the grave with believing in. All right. Number one, players go where the money is the biggest. Okay. And then, yes, you'll think about taxes in states like Texas and Florida where they don't have to pay the state tax, and that does impact some of it. But they always say, I'd love to stay here. Oh, I love it here. I love it here. How much are they paying? Okay, bye, everybody. I mean, that's just how they are. Okay. Always, 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 always about the money. It's never about anything else. I don't care what people say. I've been around the league for 30 plus years, And the other is coaches protect their win-loss record at all costs. They don't care. That's because they know they're going to be judged that way. So they don't, that's why they do some things you go, why don't you just lose this game, get a better draft pick? Nah, that's not how they play. All right. TMR, good to see Jameson Crowder. Yeah, absolutely, man. He's really stepped up with Samuel hurt. I don't know how long Samuel's going to be out, but I think it's longer than less. So Crowder's just walked in and done a great job there. Joel, be nice to get a new stadium. Yep, RFK. I mean, I think it's going that way. Todd, will Cam Curl ever get the deal he wants? Well, I don't know what he wants, but he'll get a good deal. And he deserves it. He's a good player. Done a great job. Keith, I don't care if the Giants put 53 guys. If we should lose them with Matt at Barkley quarterback, well, they just lost to them last time. Yeah, I see Danny Dimes is now out with an ACL. Poor guy. What do I like on my burger, Antoinette? I like ketchup and mustard. Sometimes mayo if I really feel like doing it that way. I just like to eat the burger. I don't like to stick all this stuff on it. Eat the meat, not the sauce. Don't put hot sauce on everything. I hear this from my son-in-laws all the time. Oh, it's so good. It hurts. It's burning. You're not tasting the meat. Why don't you just drink out of the hot sauce box? That's what I'm not a big thing on all that. Joel, thank you so much. Do appreciate you chipping in. Do I think the Commanders are tanking? No, because they would have lost yesterday, Zane, if they were doing that. So, no, they're not tanking. But they don't do that. What players will do at the end of a bad season is they'll protect themselves against injuries more than anything. That's another truth of the NFL. especially last game or two, making open field tackles. My guys whiff on those. They don't want to. They don't want to get hurt and the end of the season be a free agent. Oh man, that's the worst thing that can happen. Chris, he talks about Pringle made some good plays. Yeah, he popped up out of nowhere too. So you see Pringle making them, and then Crowder's making plays, and you're like, whoa, it's good. I mean, that's why there were 5 players yesterday that had 4 or 5 catches. 3 guys had 4, 2 had 5. So they really spread the ball around a lot like that. Do I like the yellow throwbacks? Keith said, nope, nah. Um, Campbell Betts Cooley era. It's not exactly inspiring. I like the Washington's helmet. I like that how the red pops off of it. I like that. Hate the black because it's not this team. This isn't the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I hate that. I like a white jersey more or less with the red burgundy pants, I guess. I'm not a big uniform guy normally. I'll tell you the helmet I like the most in the league is the Cincinnati Bengals white tiger thing, the stripes. I don't like that helmet. That's pretty cool. I like the Washington Wizards' new DC, the district jersey. I thought that was really cool. Of course, everybody's like, "Oh, you don't know nothing." I don't know. Why can't I like what I like? Chris, will we finally get a GM to use a salary cap? Well, it's got $90 million open, so let's hope so. And Mike talks about how I got 24 on a 3rd and 23. That was a great play. Did a great job on that. Kyle, thank you so much for chipping in. I appreciate it. What's the team on the hat behind you on the bookshelf? So the brown, oh yeah, the brown one there. That's actually my junior high baseball cap. Believe it or not, I get it. This is the Eugene Burroughs baseball, 1975. I don't know. I think my head's too big for it now. Yeah. My head got a little bigger, but yeah, Burroughs baseball. We're actually decent. Down at Ackeek, Maryland. Ackeek, as we say, Accokeek, where I played baseball. I was an okay baseball player. Nothing great, but I was okay. And longer doing that. I had this next to it. This is me at 21, I think. So good mustache back then. Had long hair. This is after I had my hair cut. Now I don't have any hair to cut, but we're not all born old. Sucks though. Don't get old. I'll just tell you that it sucks. Okay. Should have kept the numbers on the helmet. I wouldn't have any problem with that, Keith. M Safe says can't wait till Rod's firing. Well, I don't like to watch misfortune on people. I'll say goodbye and wish them well. I think I've covered 10 coaches now. So, there was a couple I didn't like. I didn't like Marty, and I didn't like Shanahan, and I didn't cry when they left. Most of the guys, they're okay guys. Sweet hat, yep. Yeah. Once in a while, people think it's Brooklyn or something. No, just my old baseball hat I've somehow managed to keep. Joel, you may like seeing Washington play every Thanksgiving on a Thursday night, but I don't because I kind of like to have a holiday. I mean, getting near the end of my career, my daughter's talked about a bunch of families going to the beach next August. And normally I would say, but that's training camp. And today I said, I'm in. I've seen this will be my 50th training camp somewhere coming up next summer. But I don't want to take a week and go to the beach anymore. How many summers do I have? So go enjoy life a little bit. I'll be back. I'll miss a preseason game. Big deal. I guess I will. I don't even know if they're playing it. Let's see. Okay. So if you are watching on replay, and at the very beginning of the show, I did talk about RFK. This show, people tend to watch 10, 15 minutes and then move on. So I can bring something back up again. And that is Events DC today has a report out on their website. It's been up for, I guess, a few days, but I didn't see it. Nobody else did either. That said, there's no firm timetable yet, but they are down to the last couple compliance waivers and such, and then they can start it. They have stripped the stadium clear pretty much of the asbestos and all the working stuff, basically anything loose, seats, all that stuff, it's all gone. Only left is concrete and steel. They're not going to blow it up because of environmental concerns. So they're going to literally demolish it by mechanical means, meaning they'll cut it up and lower it down and go, which takes a lot longer, but it's environmental. Can't beat the government, especially in this town. Am I going out of town for Thanksgiving? Nope. Internet. I'll be covering the game. I'm toying with the idea for the Thanksgiving Day game of doing a live chat because I won't be on deadline that day, and it's a road game. And I'm thinking about sitting here. I don't know if any of you guys want to come do that. You can hit your comments here if you think it or you're not. But I'm thinking about just doing a live chat during the game. We'll just hang out and I'll eat pumpkin pie. But I already told my daughter's hosting this year. I said do it at lunchtime, so I come, and then I got to come do this at 4:30. I would rather have the day off, but I don't make the schedule. All right, Brent, who would be a player as a free agent or trade you would bring here and why? And dude, I hate to tell you this, I don't think about those kind of things much. I just don't because I'm too busy with what I worry about what's in front of me. So to do, there's lots of great players I'd love to see him have. I mean, hey, okay, Patrick Mahomes. I'd love to have Patrick Mahomes. Let's trade for him, or Kelsey, those guys. Because then Taylor would come and we could all see Taylor. That would be cool. Man, Taylor. Taylor's impact's amazing. Well, thanks. He sings fine. I do know her songs. As a matter of fact, by the way, my Antoinette, my beating the books on Saturday, I get to keep my shirt on because I had a pretty much 500 week. So I didn't lose my shirt again. Trent, is Langston Golf Course being redesigned? All right, so the report does talk about Langston, built in 1939 as part of the Civilian Conservation Corps project. They don't say redesign, they say renovate. So they're going to renovate the 18 holes. They're going to actually build an 18-hole putting course. Wow, what's that about? They're going to renovate the practice areas and golf range. So they're going to have a new miniature golf course. I've seen that. Never played it, but I've seen it. And expand the clubhouse. So they're going to put some money into that. That's probably part of the deals. That's an old golf course. Washington people you like. It's not, it's not Congressional Country Club, but it's a working people's, golf course. I don't play golf, so I don't care. But I know a lot of people in DC love that course, and they're not getting rid of it. There was talk of that too. That got shut down. Mike, so okay, hopefully Mike thinks that my live coverage will be there. I normally I'm covering the games for a lot of people. That's just a rare instance I'm not. And we did it once in the preseason, one of those weird days I didn't have a own deadline. So maybe I'll do it again. I'll sit here. I'll get a Costco pumpkin pie, and we'll see if I can eat the whole thing during the game. I bet I can. God, if any of you have ever seen them, Costco puts out a pumpkin pie. Swear to God, the biggest thing you ever saw, and it's $6. You can't even make it yourself for that. So maybe we'll have that be part of the challenge, and you can put money in and bet if I can eat the whole pumpkin pie. There you go. There's an idea. Let's see, Keith. Let's see. How is it when Ron said once EB arrived that he was given full offensive control? The only two players that have panned out that EB brought here are, we ran out of room. Okay, I don't know. Let's see who that is. Oh, Pringle. There you go. Which I don't know if I would say Pringle has worked out, but he certainly contributed. And Wiley, who's not doing as good. Yet everyone wants EB for head coach. I mean, EB's got some good ideas. I like him as a person, motivator. Those kind of doesn't bother me that he yells at players. I would play for him, if I were a player. Wouldn't bother me any. Go do your job. You'd be fine. EB's got no problems with you. Go do your job and give everything you got. That's what this league is about. Most of the players, even the worst player on this team, is a success from his own hometown because only like not even 1% of players get here. So they're all motivated. Yeah. Whipped cream or ice cream? Oh, whipped cream. Yeah, ice cream's a little much. I'd go whipped cream. And just regular whipped cream, not, the 50 different kinds now they're making. My wife she got one pumpkin spice whipped cream. Pumpkin spice whipped cream on a pumpkin pie. No. I like it a little cleaner. Does everyone agree the running game needs to be a bigger part of things? Says Mike. I mean, I agree with you there. I mean, they did better yesterday. It was like 60-40 passing offhand. Trying to think of the number. So in a game that they, controlled quite a bit of the time. Unlike the week before, they controlled the game mostly, even though they lost, and it was like a 3-to-1 pass to run ratio. That's just not good enough. Don't seem to be able to use Chris Rodriguez lately. I don't know what that's about, and nobody does. We're all wondering why. You put him in, you like him, you love him, you talk about him, you don't play him. But Gibson did a great job. Gibson did what they have been wanting to create out of that position, running and passing threat. And he did a good job. Trent, what's the latest on RFK getting through Congress? Yeah, okay. So when they had the 3-week government shutdown, Trent, here's the thing. Yeah, they had momentum. They were ready to go, got through the House Oversight Committee. They're ready to go at it. And then whammo, they shut down for 3 weeks. And when they come back, they're still fighting about everything. They got a major budget bill. It has to be passed in 2 weeks or the government shuts down. They've got wars that we're trying to figure out about funding. And so a RFK lease, that's in the back of the books. If they had not shut down, I think it would have been approved. And that's a 99-year lease for the DC government. But everybody's still moving on with what they're doing. They're working on RFK's demolition. The team is looking at plans for a new stadium. They're talking with the mayor about an eventual deal. So it's not really a problem at the moment. It'll get done. Now, whether it gets approved by the city council, which has the money, the mayor talks a lot, but it's the city council that has the money. That's who they got to win over to get this. But I'll let Josh Harris take a shot at it. Oh, Mike H wants to know about my book, The Presidents. Yeah, so I'm writing a book called Presidential Pours. I was hoping to have it done for Christmas. I'm not sure because I had COVID in the fall and I lost like 6 weeks of writing, and I don't know if I'm going to make it. But if I don't, it'll come out afterwards. But it's about every president and his favorite alcoholic drinks. There was a couple that didn't drink, like Biden and Trump. But some guys, man, George Washington could drink. John Adams started every day with a shot. I mean, there's a lot of guys that drink. I have some recipes, some stories about it, places they drank. It'd be like 100 pages, $10, something like that. So maybe it's out for Christmas. I'd love to do it but I got to finish. And, the COVID thing really took some time out of me. So we'll see. I'm feeling okay now. But, at that 6 weeks is a long time out of the writing schedule. Okay, but thanks for asking, Mike. It'll come back. It'll come out eventually. Antoinette, how much is Harris going to pay to build a new stadium? Well, that's always a good question, Antoinette. I'm sure they all want to know that. Um, I think the team has to put up $1 billion of its own money. Now, is this a $2 billion stadium or something? And here's the thing: PSLs, personal seat licenses, won't shock me. Listen, you're going to miss a FedEx Field when it's gone, and you could get in for a few bucks. Not this new place. It's going to be for rich folk who want to pay real money to come for enhanced experiences. The days that you can get a ticket for $20, $30, $40, they're over. It's going to be a smaller stadium, so the seats won't be as much, available. It'll be tough. You'll be paying through the nose for it. Good luck to you. It won't be me. I should be retired before this new stadium's not going to happen until late 2020s at the earliest, maybe 2030. And I don't know if I can keep going that many years. All right. Keith, you like Dennis Allen as a DC? Okay. I'll go with you. I don't notice him as much. Trent, if the stadium goes to RFK, do you foresee the practice facility going? No, I've heard that they want to stay in Ashburn for that. Well, DC government, if you get down to the end of the deal, you never know if they can force it. They would want a practice facility in the jurisdiction that the stadium is in, not for convenience of the team, but because of the payroll taxes. I mean, you're paying a couple $100 million a year to players. There's payroll taxes in there. That's one way of getting your money back. So we'll see. Mr. TMR, didn't know John Adams was a drinker. Ooh, this dude could drink, man. He was start off your day with a shot. He loved hard cider. Yeah, John. No wonder John Adams was so mean. I can't libel him because he's dead. So if I say, man, that guy was a drunk, sorry, you can't sue me over that. But dead people can't sue. That's one of the rules you learn in journalism. So if you want to say something bad, say it about somebody's dead. I was at inside the Washington Monument on Saturday night. I put up some photos of my um, trip up, actually during the day. I haven't been up in that Washington Monument in years, mostly because it's been closed for many years. Um, cool trip. There's a statue of George that the guy actually measured George to do the bronze statue. George has a big gut, and I said I didn't see George Washington having a big gut. But the dude did drink a lot. He became America's richest man by selling whiskey at the end of his life. So George Washington. Yeah, it was a redhead too. And if you know that, you always see the late. We don't see his early pictures days, but he was actually a redhead. So was Jefferson. I do tour guiding in DC, and a lot of you actually come. I have somebody coming to Mount Vernon. I'm taking them as somebody watches this show. We're going in a couple weeks. So if you come to Washington, you want a tour guide and all the gossip or whatever, I do it. Just go to monumentalthoughts.com. That's my website. And you can email me through it, and I can take you around Washington for money. Everybody wins. I usually give viewers, I knock $50 off for viewers. So just when you put in there, say, hey, I watch it. That's one way this show makes me money. I heard, let's see, Howe is second among passing yardage in the league, says Traveling Alien. Yeah, I haven't looked at the standings today. I was busy today doing a lot of stuff, so didn't have a chance to look at that. Steve, they drank because the White House water sucked. Yeah, because we were in a swamp. And like Lincoln lost one of his boys to the water in D.C. Nowadays, you can drink water here. But I mean, back in colonial times, a lot of these guys drank it. I mean, even kids drank like a combination of alcohol and all because the water wasn't safe in a lot of places. That's why they drank a lot there too. Any new monuments coming to DC? Asked Trent. I would love to see a John Adams. Yeah, John Adams doesn't have a monument in DC. That's a gross overlook. Next Smithsonian is going to be the Museum of the Woman. When, I don't know yet. They're still looking at sites. That's at least 10 years away. But we haven't heard of any monuments lately. But there's always something coming on. They want to do a big monument with the Gulf Wars, put it near the Vietnam. But that's still fundraising. Whiskey Rebellion makes a little sense now, says Mr. T.O. Morrow. That's because, yeah, competition for George. Actually, the big thing I learned is a lot of guys who were farmers in outlying areas of our country, to ship their crops would cost so much more, so they boiled it down into spirits. A lot easier to sell whiskey using the corn or grain or whatever. It was a better way to ship and make better money than to try and just send your corn to market. It wouldn't last. So that's why whiskey became such a big deal. And the farmers out there said, I ain't paying tax on this. But George said, I got an army, and yes, you will. Let's see. So Keith asked about pursuing free agents. Let me say this, Keith. Prominent free agent shows up, undecided. They open the side door. There's Magic. Magic wants you to come. You want to play for Magic? I guarantee you he's going to be a closer on somebody important. Guarantee it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't want to play for Magic. Traveling Alien, is it true George Washington threw a $50 across the Potomac? Okay, no. Supposedly it was the Rappahannock River, but we didn't have coins back then like that. We didn't have dollars. So that's all a bunch of BS. So it's a cherry tree thing. That's also another made up story. But yeah, never threw that dollar, $50, whatever, across the Potomac. Now, could he throw a rock across the Rappahannock somehow? Maybe. At least there would be a chance of that. But we didn't have coins like that back then. So right away, it's fake news. So they like to make up stories about people back then. I mean, the Lincoln assassination has so much myths in it. It's ridiculous. On there. All right, 844. Okay, so about every 20 minutes, I have a new audience. So I start my horror talk again and say, please send me money. Hit that $ button below you, and it'll be all great for everybody. So if you can find your way to helping an old sports writer out who's giving you an hour of his inside that knowledge that you can't get anywhere else. And I'm not sticking around forever. So this is, I'm not saying it's my last season. I don't know anymore. I thought the last few were my last season. But once I'm gone, you can't find me. Steve, next thing you say you didn't have wooden teeth. Oh, yeah, wooden teeth. I actually usually have a picture around here of it, but they're in the museum at Mount Vernon. Yeah, one tooth left. I think it was like this one. The rest of them they pulled, and they were animal teeth or slaves' teeth. He paid his slaves $1 for a tooth, and they put it in. The wooden part was the gum line that they attached the teeth to. Do I think the team will get new uniforms next year, Antoinette? I haven't heard about it, but that doesn't mean they aren't. I don't know. They always like to screw with this stuff so that you guys go buy them. Steve, thank you so much for kicking in. I appreciate it on there. Just trying to make a few dollars before I fade away and eat dog food for a living. Um, what can I say? Kind of near the end, my doctor was telling me she's retiring soon. I'm like, listen, if I retire, there's some kid with a dream that wants to be a sports writer or take my job. You're a cardiologist. We don't have enough of you. You stay, please. I have a great cardiologist. Saved my life because I had a major heart attack 21 years ago. And I had to have open heart later, and I went through all that stuff. At Redskin Park, had the heart attack. They saved my life. So I promised not to be snotty for a while after that happened, but that expired already. Commanders are eighth seed. Yeah, they still hung in there traveling out. CM Martin, thank you so much. I appreciate it. See, $1.99, and I still say thanks. That'll buy something at Taco Bell, I think. I took my 8-year-old grandson and some others to Taco Bell. I haven't been inside a Taco Bell in years. And they have screens where you can sit there and, he can sit there and order everything. And for 4 people, we had $52 worth of food at Taco Bell. They ate like crazy people. And I thought, I didn't think you could spend $52 in a Taco Bell. But yes, you can. And I didn't get enough to eat there. They all tore through everything. I would have thought $52 at Taco Bell would be like 1,000 tacos or something. But now everything's so prices are crazy. I was at Wegmans today near Redskin Park. They're selling little Christmas trees like a foot tall, or so in the bucket live ones. And they were $45. I'm like, are you insane? I'm not paying that. I find myself. It's the one thing about when you get old, money changes because you're used to money on a smaller scale, and now it's just crazy how much everything is. Does the Armory get moved? Daniel asks. Not at this point. No one's talking about the Armory moving at all. I'm a little surprised they could use a new one. I guess it's pretty old. I mean, Armory's at least 1960s, maybe earlier than that, probably. What do I think the chances of Commanders making the playoffs, traveling Alien? Nah, I just don't think it's good. Too many hard games. That'd be okay if they kept Ron and EB. I don't really care, Lou Allen. I mean, I'm not tied up emotionally into it where I go home and cry. They do what they do, and I write about it. That's how I act. I don't get emotionally invested in that kind of stuff. That's being a journalist. I enjoy when they win, but beats losing. Eric, good win yesterday. I think the team will draft an O lineman with their number 1. I would hope so. I mean, you better have a good excuse if you go elsewhere. Am I into Christmas and Christmas music, Todd? Not until, I don't even want to think about it till after Thanksgiving. Let's have Thanksgiving first. Really, December 1st or something is when I might. But I don't sit there and listen to Christmas music all day now. All right. Got to make sure you get the party pack at Taco Bell. I wonder what that is. I hadn't been at Taco Bell in forever. I was just amazed. My grandson knew how to whiz. He's only 8, and he ran up my bill. All right. How comes when Snider was here, it was sell the teams, banners, petitions, and all. Now that he's gone, let's go back. It's not derogatory. It's unfair. It's let's go back. Well, Keith, I don't know what to tell you on that. It amazes me. People can't be happy. They've been unhappy covering or watching this team for so long. They can't take a breath. I mean, we had 2 good months of the team sold, undefeated preseason, won the first 2 games, regular season. Those were good times. We're back to chaos now. That's what we do. Traveling out to one holiday at a time person. I agree. I have all this Christmas stuff out now. I don't even pay attention to it. Let's see. Yeah, Seattle got beat by the Ravens 37-3, says Dale Jr. And yeah, I mean, that's why I say, could Washington beat them? Sure. Am I frying my turkey, Antoinette? No, that's bad for you. Didn't you hear the part where I talked about the heart attack 20 years ago? I don't eat. That's terrible. Terrible for you. I don't care if it tastes good. Spit it out. You know, we all got to eat better if you want to live longer. And I can just tell you, you may say, oh, I don't care. But when you're in that hospital and it's looking dim, you care a lot. So I've changed my life in a lot of respects when it comes to food. I'm also diabetic, so I really have to. Um, cardiologist and I were talking today about be good. She's pretty happy with me, and she never is. So, yeah, if you met me 20 years ago and I had a heart attack, I was 60 pounds heavier, stuff like that. But not that I've faded away. Do we go into Dallas and win? Well, Washington is 2 and what is it now? 2-8, I think, against Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. But they've won the last couple, I believe. So they won twice recently. So they've had better luck. And Dallas is nobody's. Dallas is always talked up by all the fans. Oh, Cowboys are the greatest. Well, when's the last time they won anything either? Yeah, they won 95 was their last Super Bowl. So they're their own hype machine. Is there any warning signs when I had a heart attack? Asked Charles. Well, for those of you out there, yes. Actually, like a week or two before, I was up at training camp in Carlisle and I had a huge back pain. Took my breath away. I mean, it felt like somebody stabbed me with a knife. That was a warning sign I didn't know about. The classic chest pain didn't really have much of that. It was when I got really bad. I arrived at Redskin Park and got kind of nauseous and disoriented, and my arm really hurt. You know, the classic arm thing, but not so much in my chest so much. That's why I was confused about what was going on. And I was sitting there, and the ER doctor's talking right to me. He goes, "You're having a heart attack." I go, "Nah, I'm not having a heart attack." He says, "Yes, you are." I'm like, "Really?" I mean, at that point, I had to believe him. so, so don't screw around. If you're over 50, go see a cardiologist. Run on the treadmill. Get in front of it. Don't get behind it. I had the kind called the Widowmaker that kills 19 of 20 men. I am the one in 20 who survived. Yeah, so I always figured God had a plan for me. It's to stay here and talk to you forever. This is my purgatory. Um, so get in front of these things, man, because I'm telling you, you may think, oh, wait a minute. If you don't have your health, you got nothing. I've been through a couple of health scares. One last year, I thought I had a stroke. It turned out to be my back. And so now I do stretching exercises. But I thought this was it. I'm going out again. Everybody's brave till the end. So go do the right thing. I'm not telling you to go eat broccoli, but pay attention to your health because without your health, you're dead, as they say. All right. Um, Daniel, what current stadium in the NFL do you think the new RFK will be like? Hopefully, none of them. That was Jack Kent Cook's big mistake. Is he built it like the Giant Stadium, and he built a stadium based on the past. You want a stadium based on the future. It'll be a 60,000 initial, but you want something of the looking forward. Be bold. Think of something new, not of moat. So hopefully it's something people haven't seen. But I mean, there's some great stadiums. You know, the Sphere in Vegas. They get like the Sphere in Vegas somehow. That would be cool. I've heard some great things. I'm hoping to go see it soon. Traveling alien, Daniel Jones is out for the year. Yeah, tore ACL. I mean, his neck's a real problem too. The Giants really are thinking they're going to have to go draft a quarterback next year. I've been hearing that, and then maybe Danny Dimes is time up. That was before the ACL. They're worried more about the neck. So we'll see. Um, Daniel, you had 85%. Well, mine was 90, Daniel, so I beat you there. But I was 42, so you got 3 years to pass me. Yeah, no, I hope you're feeling better and hope you got that fixed. I had to have a bypass eventually, which is a big deal, but you can't see the scar anymore, I guess. But um, you don't want to do it, but it saved my life, so I can't complain. Good chess mass in the Pacific, Mr. Tio Morrow. Okay. Yeah, Evie against Carroll. We'll see what they do. I wish they were playing Kansas City this year. Could watch Evie go against Reed. No, I don't look like Andy Reid. I don't know why everybody. So my wife yesterday, I froze the picture. I said, "Do I look like this guy?" She goes, "Well, he's fatter than you are." I thought, "Okay, good." He's also older than me. But if I put on the hat and I try and dress with him, we could be cousins, I guess. But People talk about this all the time. Third stringer, that's right. Giants playing third stringer, traveling alien. Gregory, do you think Ron saved his job yesterday? No. No, I mean, there's still 8 games to go. That will decide Ron's fate. It's what happens at the end. It's like presidential elections. You hear the poll yesterday, Trump's beating Biden, this and that. None of that matters until you get within 6 months of an election. I cover elections, been around a lot. Nothing matters on presidential elections until 6 months out. And look at last time. COVID hit 7 months out. Trump might have won, but COVID changed everything, and people then get scared and they want change. So we don't know. I don't even pay attention to presidential polls at this point. They haven't been right last few years anyway. So same thing with the NFL. It's what happens at the end, more or less. Let's see. KJ, happy for Sweat. Yeah, I mean we all are. I'm always happy when somebody gets paid and makes some money. If they don't make it, the owners do. Would Rivera be a good defensive coordinator in the NFL anymore, Frank? No, I don't think so. I think he's good at being the overall boss, so you can have an opinion on that, but I don't think he'd go back down to being a DC anywhere. If he leaves here, he probably retires. How long was I in rehab after heart surgery? 3 days, I think, Antoinette. And then they let you go. You're like, really? But you don't feel too bad after a couple of days. I mean, the morphine kind of masked me for a day, and then things got real. But you just suck it up, go do what you got to do. I quit taking painkillers. I took them one night when I came home, and then that was it. I'd rather feel the pain, keep going. Now my 8-year-old who doesn't want to do things now has a new phrase after staying with me for 2 weeks. It says, "Suck it up. I don't care what you want to do." So his father now uses that on him. So it's like, listen, I don't care. It's time to suck it up and do what we got to do. Before you guys leave, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. I will appreciate it because the algorithm is happy when you do that. If you want to leave some money on the table, that's always great too. Wow, we got just a few minutes left on the show. Thank you, Mike H. I appreciate you coming by. Yeah, we're missing a few guys. Where's Mike tonight? Mike, where are you? You're watching on replay. Yeah, cheater. So we got a couple of minutes left. Throw your last questions up. Appreciate it. And if you're watching on replay and missed a bunch of the early part of the show, we opened up about RFK and the developments that are going on there, getting closer to being demolished. One piece at a time. They'll probably try and sell it. Who knows? Here's a brick from RFK, only $89.99. Wouldn't surprise me. Do I think they'll do another Sean Taylor statue, KJ? Not at least at this stadium. I'd like to think they'll do something new, like a Hall of Fame in the next stadium, but no one's talking about that right now. They're just trying to get through some bigger issues. By midseason, Sam will be a top 10 quarterback. Oh, we're at by next year, midseason. I always listen. I'm the guy who was blowing the horn for Sam Howell from the very beginning. Liked him his rookie day, and I wrote about him. And nobody can tell me I'm a liar on this. I was way ahead of everybody on Sam Howell. I liked what I saw. I'm not a scout, but I know football players. Sam Howell's a baller. He's never going to be a top. Well, in his best years, he might be one of the top. I mean, it might be a lot of Mark Rippon in a way. He'll ride with the tide up and down. Some years he could be really good, but is he good enough by himself? Like say a Brady? No, but I think he's good enough to win with, and we'll have more good days than bad. That's all you can ask, really. What's the chance Commanders get a top quality coach now that a name like Rivera? If they go for a coordinator, I mean, then you're not really talking about a name. You're talking about a prospect. But I think that's where I would go, at least at this point. But I haven't heard any talk inside the building about coaches like that. Greg doesn't think they need to restart a quarterback. I don't either. They got a lot of problems. He's not one of them. And look, the line blocked reasonably well yesterday. And Ron said, well, the big reason was that Larson and Chris Paul are each 30-pound heavier than the guys before him. So I'm supposed to give you kudos for finally figuring something out at midseason. You could have figured it out in the preseason, but you spent a lot of money on Nick Gates, so you made him the guy. Chris Paul maybe wasn't ready at the time. I don't know, maybe. But, Sadiq wasn't the answer. We all knew that. Now he's hurt again. out for so you should have made these moves much earlier. So I don't give out participation trophies. If you see my grades after games, I can be a tough grader at times. Those grades get watched anywhere from 40 to 100,000 people a week. I mean, it's amazing some weeks how high they go. Did I talk to Josh Harris? I have answered that way back, with a group studying kind of thing, but not individually. Does Jack Del Rio stay on the staff, Greg? Greg, you're a real card, aren't you? That's funny. No, no, no. Uh, Bob, you just got here. Bob, I'm leaving in a minute. Watch the replay. Shame on you. Well, I know you forgot to set your clock and it messed it up. Maybe that's why not so many people came. You guys are still an hour behind or ahead or something. But thanks for coming, Bob. All right. Steve, who watches every minute of this show, is telling me it's time to go. So I mean, he's right. It's time to go. So thank everybody for coming. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button on the way out the door. We'll do it Mondays 8 to 9 every week, pretty much. So we're usually here, and then the videos, of course, 6 a.m. and dinner time in the afternoon. So go and watch it. I have an RFK video up. I just posted. So you can see what's up there if you like. So just watch me and don't listen to anybody else. I'm telling you. Whatever. But thank you, Jason, for coming. Thanks, Charles. Thanks for Bob. All my romper room friends here, to say the least. I've been working nonstop doing junk since yesterday morning. So I finally get to say good night. So thank you so much. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.